What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so according to reports, Stephen A. Smith is on line, or in line, I should say, to sign a 5-year, $125 million contract with ESPN, which will reportedly make him the first $100 million employee of ESPN. Now, there were reports that Pat McAfee was making something along the lines of $30 million, but maybe his contract is only 3 years or something like that. So I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the figure that he was looking for. $25 million a year over 5 years is $125 million. Now, there were reports that he was supposed to be leaving ESPN soon, but I guess he's going to stay around for a couple of more years. And I was talking to a friend of mine recently about all of Stephen A. Smith's recent shenanigans, because he's been cutting some mean ones. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about farts either. He's been cutting some mean ones lately. I mean, Stephen A. Smith has always been a guy. Ever since he came back, he's always, from being fired from ESPN or BSPN, he's always been a guy since he came back to strategically straddle the fence, to try to say enough to appease the so-called black community, while also trying to be acceptable to others. Okay. To be honest with you, that can work out for you financially, because the majority, he knows who the majority is in this country. If you listen to his argument about OJ, he acknowledges that. He says the majority of people in this country believe that he was, and we also know that the OJ verdict and the OJ trial is split along racial lines. He knows that. He's full well knows that. But he doesn't care, because in his mind, his employees, aka the people that, I don't want to, well, I guess it's apropos to say, the people that own him in this scenario. I mean, because he told us that. He told us that's all he thinks about. He'll never be able to leave that down. He'll never be able to live that down. He told us what how his mindset is. It's not about getting your own. It's about appeasing his overseers. But anyway, that's what he was doing. That's why he's been going so hard in the paint. That's why he's been going extra hard in the paint over the last year, to prove to them that he could be a loyal minion for, I'll say, the majority. He knows what he knows he was doing. Why honestly, why so outraged about OJ? Even if you felt like he was guilty, I mean, it ain't like they did a 1-hour tribute to him. What was it? 5 or 10 seconds? That triggers you enough, since you got going this huge, long OJ rant. Look, Jimmy Stewart, I grew up loving Jimmy Stewart. I used to watch a whole bunch of old movies when I was a kid on AMC. I love watching It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, The Philadelphia Story. I grew up watching all those old movies. I loved Jimmy Stewart when I was younger. Wow. See, the thing is, the thing is, Do you know how much it bothered me to find out that he was a bigot? Although I should have expected that, but he was a bigot. This ain't just hearsay. This was documented by other actors, black actors, and some other actors more enlightened that work with him. He refused to do a sketch when he had a short-lived variety show in the early 70s. He refused to do a sketch where he was going to be reprimanded by a black police officer. I think if I'm not mistaken, it was a young John Amos that was supposed to be in that sketch. He refused to do it. He said he wouldn't be belittled by a color. But you don't go see me going around advocating that all his movies be removed. But I'm not trying to equate the two. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to equate that with what OJ was acquitted of. But still, what I'm saying is the man was acquitted. Yes, he was found liable in the civil trial. But once again, I have to point out how important racial lines is to the O.J. Simpson saga. In the criminal trial, the jury was 67, 2/3%, 67%, 2/3 black. The civil trial, there was only one black man on a jury of 12. And I think only like 3 black women. One black man, he wasn't even born in the United States. He was from Jamaica. So you don't think that had any effect on the trial and the verdict? None? Sure it did. But everybody points out the demographics of the criminal trial, but never the demographics of the civil trial. Why? Because they liked the decision of the jury. But not to keep dwelling on that. Stephen A. Smith knows what he was doing. Ryan Garcia went on the most disgusting rant that I've heard in a very, very long time. I'm done with him. I have never have anything nice to say about a guy ever again. This is another guy who, Stephen A. Smith calls his brother. He's a good brother. A guy that says that he would love to be in the KKK, want to dig up George Floyd and execute him again. I mean, the things that get to me is like this. This what gets me about Stephen A. Smith. And other people have said this, how consistently wrong he always is in all of these scenarios that affects our community. He's always on the wrong side, whether it's Colin Kaepernick, whether it's, the OJ situation, whether it's what Terrell Owens told him, you know what I'm saying? Terrell Owens told him what everybody was thinking, and pretty much what we think in the community about him. He don't want to hear it. He tried to move the goalposts and try to explain this and explain that position. It's too late, man. You have too long a track record of cutting these awesome Nicholas Brother-esque jigs. It ain't just a one-time thing. It ain't a one-off thing. It's a consistent pattern with you ever since you were rehired by ESPN, or AKA BSPN. But what we notice about you is whenever there's a black man accused of anything, he could be picking his nose on the bench. What you'll do, bug your eyes out, ask the cameraman to put the camera on you, and you go on an absolute terrible, vicious rant about how awful he is. He should be fined $100,000 for disgusting theatrics, and who wants to see that? And your mama should have raised you better, attacking him. But meanwhile, Dana White, he's a good brother. a good brother. Kevin Porter Jr. should be under the jail. Dana White, a good brother who just made a mistake. All this smoke for OJ, never really heard you go on a rant about George Zimmerman. I mean, it's just, come on, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. But this is his reward. And I heard Ticket say this, and it's very true. This is how a lot of these guys move now. You know what I'm saying? This is how a lot of these guys move. They doing whatever they got to do to get the money, whether it's on a lower scale, like some YouTubers, on a larger scale, like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. But it comes with a price. Can't have both ways. You cannot be cutting these pirouette, sliding down the balcony, tap-toeing, tip-tapping all over the stage. You can't cut these awesome, legendary tap jigs, but they still think you're going to get all this love in the black community. Nah. That's the price you got to pay. And by the way, stop acting like you goddamn Bumpy Johnson, man. Stop acting like you Nicky Barnes, because you're not. Stop telling these tall tales. Okay? I'm from the streets. Yeah. Sesame Street. Sesame Street. Ain't you the same dude that ran from, well, I ain't gonna go there. Anyway, that's all I got to say about it. You know, congrats to him. I'm not hating on him for the money or nothing like that. You know, I always, for the most part, wish people the best, man. But man, what price do you got to pay to get paid, man? You got to do that. Sell out your people. Sell your soul for that. Then again, you know, maybe somebody like him don't even care. Might not care. You know, a guy like him probably doesn't even matter, man. A guy like that don't have no loyalties to anybody but himself, man. Anyway, tell me what you guys think.